What's up guys, this is Balázs from RacingBrick. Today I have the 42127 Batmobile with me from the upcoming Batman movie, which has a surprising title, The Batman. Clever, huh? I did a detailed preview about the set and everything you can see on the box. If you want to check it out, the link is in the top right corner as usual. I wouldn't waste much time here. Batmobile on the front, Batmobile on the back with some features and details, a very seriously looking Batman on the side, light bricks on the other side. Let's open the box. So, the set has 1360 pieces, the price is 99.99 euros or dollars, and the availability is quite strange. In North America, the set was available for pre-order already, although now we can only see that it will be available from the 1st of November. Everywhere else the release date is January 1st, 2022, so we have to wait a bit more. There are 9 numbered bags in the box, 2 unnumbered ones with the tires, rims and the fender pieces, and the manual. Since Batman loves black on black design, apparently we don't have any stickers. The manual is a bit disappointing as we have exactly zero information at the beginning about the car or the movie, just the building phases and off we go. The end, however, is slightly better. First, here's the demonstration of the different features, and then a side-by-side comparison with the real car. It's a black car in the dark, so not much is visible, but the proportions and the details are fine for the first sight. Another promo shot about the LEGO version with the new logo, and the shiny vampire, Bruce Wayne himself in his work uniform. Here's the part list. If you want to take a better look, I have the photos in my blog post. Let's start building. The process begins with the steered front axle, nothing special so far. Then we start to add parts for the chassis, and here's the shaft that will lead to the hand-of-God steering knob. An interesting geometry with this front section. After adding those 5 module long beams, it will be slightly angled. This is the first time I see the new heavy-duty differential in a non-motorized set. I wonder if it has any technical significance. We will see. We were expecting this previously, but now it's kind of confirmed. The Batmobile has no suspension. Here's some weird flex in the chassis, but I guess it will disappear soon. This is how the build looks like at the end of Bags 1. Bags 2 have a surprising amount of colorful pieces. Here comes the first light brick. If you are not familiar with it, you need to pull first this piece of plastic to make it work. It has a pretty bright light. The chassis got some extra layers, and the mechanism triggering the light brick is also in place. Here you can see how it will be activated. We continue with this module for the steering, but after connecting it to that shaft it only hangs in the air. It was waiting for this assembly, and now we have a challenge to put everything in place. It's not trivial and the end result is surprisingly flimsy, but there's a reason for that. This is not only the place for the steering knob, but it will be also used to trigger the red light brick. Here comes the new transparent engine block part. It is not the same as the one we had in previous sets before 2006, as it does not have this slot on the side. Here is the very dusty engine of 4866 from 2001. You can see the difference between the pieces. Here's the engine, and it looks pretty cool. The pistons are still visible despite those covers that will be placed on the other side as well. Time to put it in place. It's a bit tricky, but works at the end. The light effect is also functional, very cool, looks even better in the dark. The yellow light brick comes now, and the trigger mechanism that will activate it. A few panels and pieces to start the roof construction, and we are finished with bags 2. Here's the fender piece from the Ferrari 488 in black. I'm sure custom builders are very happy now. So, this is a pretty cool assembly with the fender and the curved panel on top of it. The look can be questioned, but the shifted mounting points and the whole assembly is pretty neat. The opening door mechanism is also integrated, and it has some interesting techniques altogether. Here's the sill with some extra non-Technic decoration and the B-pillar. Some pipes for the rear. It's cool how this specific angle was achieved with a few pieces. And now the exhaust manifold for the V8 to make it look awesome. The front bumper is a quite solid Technic assembly, and then comes this structure for the transparent grille and the lights built using system bricks, and it just fits properly. The front edge of the hood uses 3 of the new small curved panels. It integrates with the small panel fairings pretty well. And now some extra system pieces for the bumper. I have to say I really like this assembly. It has a badass menacing look. The mounting of this front assembly is pretty neat too. As you see, these 2 beams slide freely on that axle. So first we need to use the 2 lower pins to connect them to the chassis, and then slide those beams in place and use the black pins to connect them. The whole bumper and grille section is angled forward and it just fits perfectly with the rest of the body parts. This is a really thoughtful design. Now to the hood. We get again quite a few of that new small panels and also add some flames for the show. That was the end of bag 4. With bag 5 we build the other fender and door section and all the piping for the other side as well. If you saw my first video about this car, you might remember I said that I don't think this probably should be a Technic set because of the lack of functions and the mixed building style. Well, I have to rethink my opinion. As I build this set, there are more and more really interestingly built assemblies to achieve a very specific body shape or look. You might not learn a lot more about functions with this car, but you will definitely learn a trick or two about funky assemblies and body shaping with Technic pieces. Just look at this assembly with that angled section at the end. It is super tight, does not move around. I'm not even 100% sure if it is a legal connection, but everything fits perfectly and has a very specific look. I'm impressed. We had the same structure on the other side as well, then some extra reinforcement for the rear section. The last bag begins with this weird structure to mount on top of the engine, then we add flames, lots of flames. So I started to build a dashboard and here's a surprise. I'm supposed to apply a sticker. I really thought there's no sticker sheet. And yeah, here's another one to apply and another one. Well, there was no sticker sheet in the box. Where can it be? There are only a few pages left of the manual. Ah, okay, here it is. Such a tiny sheet, ready to be lost for sure. Here's the dashboard, using all 3 stickers of the set, looks pretty cool. And the steering column is even cooler, looks simple but it has some tricky angles to have everything at the exact required position. Time to assemble the 2 seats, nothing special but they look detailed enough. A fun fact, up until now I was unsure why the frame of the rear axle is only connected with 2 pins to the middle section. I even thought that will allow some flex for a simulated suspension or something. But the red pins on the seats will fix this, now the chassis is much more rigid. This will be the A-pillar, and here's a cool piece I did not see previously. It was introduced last year, but this is the first usage in a Technic set. It's quite useful as it connects to the hinges we knew before, but it has a pin on the other end. With this construction the A-pillar is pretty realistic but still solid, very cool. We are very near to the end, here are the wheels. There's a surprising size difference between the front and rear ones. There are some cool wheel covers as well to add, then the hand of God knob for steering, and we are finished. I have to confess that this car really grew on me during the building process, and I really like the end result. There are some very clever building techniques and has a lot of great details to look at, and the overall look is very black and fits the street of Gotham perfectly. But yeah, unfortunately being completely black means the fine details might be missed. I really like the front end with the bumper, lights and the hood. The rear section also deserves some attention, from the rear lights to the huge engine that sticks out. Regarding the functions, we have some basic ones like the opening doors and the hood. The rear wheels drive the V8 engine through the differential and also the rotating flames at the rear. I did not find a proper reason why this differential was used. The gearing is different, but it could have been compensated with other gears at the rear, so I can only think about part usage optimization or making fans happy with the newer piece. There's hand of God steering, it works well, although the turning radius is pretty big. But the smartest trick of the steering knob is not that, but the way as it doubles as a switch for the red light that makes the engine glow. The mechanism is simple but brilliant, I really love it. When you drive the car you will use the hog knob for sure, you apply some pressure and with this you can activate the light. There's no need to activate it separately, it is very cool. The effect is sort of visible at daylight, but of course the best is to watch it in the dark. The pistons moving in the transparent engine blocks look really fantastic. I'm not that happy with the other light. The placement is good, the glow between the fins on the hood looks great, and there's some glow at the grille as well, but you cannot easily activate it during driving. There's a lever in the cabin that has to be pushed, but you cannot really push it while you drive, and there's no mechanism to lock it. Can be done with a few simple pieces, but that's missing for me. I guess there's no lock to prevent accidentally draining the battery, but from a playability perspective it is a miss for me. The interior looks nice, there are enough gauges to make it look convenient, and the seats look good as well. The main missing feature is the suspension. It's a shame, but there are 2 good reasons for this. First of all, the rear light activation, as it works with a push downwards. With the suspension, the force required would be much bigger as the whole body could be pushed down as well, and that would probably make the mechanism less reliable. The other reason is simply the look. Both front and rear wheels are very close to the wheel arches. Even with a minimal suspension travel, they could touch it. You simply cannot achieve this look with a working suspension. I very much missed it previously, but now I understand why it was not implemented. What about those panels over the fenders? On the official photos they looked weird, but I have to say in real life they are less disturbing. Shifting them with one module could give a more harmonic look, but would require fundamental structural changes, so I think they are acceptable. One thing that still bothers me is the choice of wheels. We did not really see the real movie car in its full glory, since all the trailers are super dark, but I have a feeling that the Batmobile there does not have these low-profile tires. We only have this photo at the end of the manual, and here it is visible that those tires are quite different with a larger sidewall. The LEGO ones are wide enough, but unfortunately there's no alternative from LEGO's current lineup that would give us the required look at this size. We would need something like the tumbler tire, but that does not fit already. The significantly smaller front wheels also look a bit weird, but again, we don't really know how the real car looks. Anyway, a good base for modding. I read a lot of comments previously saying that this car will look the same as Dom's Dodge Charger, and people didn't understand why LEGO is releasing this car. Well, if we put them side by side, yes, they are both black, both movie cars, but it pretty much ends here. The Charger has a very simple bodywork. The Batmobile has way more details than that. Structurally and from a building experience point of view, they are also different. The Batmobile offers more from this perspective. The scale and dimensions are similar. The Batmobile is significantly smaller and especially narrower than the 1/10 scale series like the Ferrari 488. So let's sum it up. As I mentioned previously, I think I was wrong in my first video. Despite the lack of suspension, this is really a fine piece of Technic set with some clever building techniques and pretty cool functions. For this price, the competitors are Dom's Charger and the F-150 Raptor, at least in the US. At this point, I would definitely go with the Batmobile if I had to choose between these three. Let me know what you think in the comments. What are your thoughts about the sets? If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. You can also subscribe and tap that notification bell if you don't want to miss my upcoming LEGO reviews and other LEGO RC videos. See you next time, bye bye!